Welcome to the Two Peacocks Travel Podcast, where women, culture, and purpose meet the road. We're Anna and Sandy, former hospital administrators turned global travelers, and we believe travel can change how you see the world and yourself. This is a space for stories of reinvention, immersive travel, and the journeys that shape who we're becoming. If you've been feeling the nudge to explore more, this one's for you.
Hey, Peacock. It's Lazy Monday
Happy Monday.
because, we're both in our
It is
pajamas.
Lazy Monday. That's okay. That's a secret. Shh.
The thing is that I need to have pajamas that are my work clothes. Does that make sense?
Not pajamas that are work clothes.
Because I feel like I don't get out of my pajamas, so I need pajama work clothes. Just like if people have athleisure wear, I need pajamas work clothes.
Well, remind me to show you. I actually have pajamas that have peacocks. And that's good that, now that you're saying that, that's what it's going to be. Like when we're going to record, I'm going to wear those PJs.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. The fact that you didn't get me a pair, that's where I'm having an issue right now because then what the heck am I supposed to wear?
So let me just tell you, I found them the other day because you know me, and when I start to declutter, I found them. I don't even know how long they've been there, but they're these really pretty um, salmon colored silky pajamas, but they have the green feathers. And I was like, where have you been? Like, I had no idea. So I don't even know where I got them. But if I do find some, I'm going to get you some. Don't you worry.
Okay, good. The fact that you don't remember where you got them, I mean, that's a whole different podcast, girl.
That,
Because I know
I was
I
going to
have
say
chingaderillo that I don't know where it came from either.
that's a whole other conversation for a whole other podcast session. You're right.
Well, let's move into our topic. And today's topic, which I think it's going to resonate to a lot of our listeners, is traveling alone for the first time when you're over 40 years old and what that looks like.
I completely agree because I think sometimes we can't even fathom that idea. And I'll be honest with you, at 40, I didn't think of doing what I'm doing today. What we really want to do with this session is to give you, or at least give you a vision, a picture of something that's possible for you. So let's get to it.
So, like I was telling you earlier, Anna, so I think that the beauty of being in your 20s is that you never think about 10 steps ahead of all the horrible things that can happen, right? You know, Anna hates the idea of staying in a hostel because she's watched too many Saw movies. And so she thinks that that's actually a real thing. But when you're young, you don't even think about those things
Okay, well,
or being
first of all,
kidnapped.
let's back up a little. Let's back up. So, yes, I very much hesitated even considering a hostel because I only had one picture of what a hostel was about. And what I've come to learn is that that's not the case for every country or every place, which is the first myth that I would like to break. I want to be able to share with other people. No, you really have a variety of different kinds of hostels. And then it helped. I met somebody that used to run hostels in different countries. And she explained to me that, there are some that they're fine. They have, little continental breakfast. They're safe. You have your own space. Like they're okay. But then of course the other kind do exist. And if you're going with the group, then, by all means, may God protect you. But you're right. I only had one picture, one vision. And so now I want to share with the world that you can't just take face value for one thing. You've got to open up your mind to see like what is a possibility and what does it really look like and what are you comfortable with?
So what the audience wants to know, what's that one picture you had in mind about what a hostel was? Was it the movie?
Of course it was a movie. All I can think of is my kid, being somewhere and there's nothing. And then I have to call Liam Neeson. And we don't call Liam Neeson just for
I
nothing. He's
know.
in our
I
back
know.
pocket, and I'm going to be that Liam Neeson because I'm going to, whatever I got to do to get my kid back, I'm going to freaking do it. So that is the only picture I had. You don't see, or at least I haven't seen in any movie, this beautiful hostel that everybody's friendly and there's what is it? A common area where everybody's having breakfast and talking about their day adventures and then coming back. I haven't seen that. Maybe we should do a documentary about that.
It's true though. I want to make sure that before I get into the hostel thing is things that you should not watch if you've never traveled internationally by yourself. Saw, Final Destination, any Liam Neeson movies, because this is how you people get caught up, right? But I think that a hostel, it's always very intriguing to younger folks, especially if you're traveling in Europe, because it's inexpensive. And when you're 20, 21, 22, you can sleep on the stairs of a nightclub and you don't care. And you wake up all refreshed, right? All you need is a sink so you can take a little bañito de pato right there, just and then you're ready to go. And so I think you're right. Some of the ideas is that these hostels, and there is true. There are people, 7 strangers sleep in one room, of course, in these bunk beds because all they need is a rest, which is sort of the idea, I think, for those who travel El Camino. Of course, our El Camino
Mhm.
trip is not going to have hostels or bunk beds. We're staying in hotels. But having said that, thank you so much, Anna, for letting us know that there are hostels that look like hotels. And I think one of them, maybe it's the one that you went to go visit, it's the one in Cordoba that we were thinking about using for the students. It's beautiful.
Let me tell you, I was blown away when I walked into that hostel. Clean, beautiful, people on staff available to you, common area specifically, for the only those that are staying there. But the rooms, when you walk in, is like, yes, there was one room that had bunk beds that you could sleep up to 4 or 5 people, but everybody had their assigned locker by number. So if you're at bed number one, locker number one. And you put your stuff in there with a little key so everything's safe. But more importantly, it was located centrally where you had access to step out and have food and go shopping and still look at some of the, historical monuments. It really gave me a different perspective as to what a hostel looks like. I'm telling you, I have all these pictures, and when I was recording, I have that's some footage that I have not shared with you. But when I was recording, I'm actually sharing. It's recording to you, and I'm sharing my thoughts. Like I'm really pleasantly surprised, and maybe we should do something about putting that together so people can see the different kinds of hostels, and you can find, because the same thing happened in Granada. You
I
know,
was going to say that was a hostel. We stayed in
definitely
Granada at a hostel and it was so cute.
super cute. And they offer you assistance if you wanted to take a bike, resources of where you can get food. I mean, what more do you want?
And look, we survived.
We survived. We're still we're talking about it.
So I think that a lot of the okay, so that's one of them, right? Like, misconceptions that people have of traveling and where do I stay? So I always tell people, Anna and I have tried a lot of things. We've tried a lot of hotels that they will tell you they're 5-star. We show up and we're immediately in the front desk raising hell because we know for a fact that it's not a 5-star. But I want to tell you a secret. One, when you are looking at reviews of a hotel, a hostel, whatever it is, go based on American reviews. Do not go based on international reviews of folks from around the world because their standards are different than our standards. For example, they might be okay with the stain on the carpet. I'm not okay with the stain on the carpet. They might be okay with dusty lamps. Anna is not okay with dusty lamps. They might be okay with brown water coming out of the faucet. Anna is definitely not okay with brown water coming out of the faucet. So I always recommend that you look at the reviews and you look at the number. So here's another um, quick tip. Whenever we see a hotel that has been recommended to us, we always go based on Booking.com's recommendations. We only stay at hotels that Booking.com gives a 9.0 and above. And not even then, we look at the 9.0 and then we read the reviews. And I'll tell you that 100% of the time, when Anna and I have confirmed it, it has been a great experience. And the times we have not confirmed it, is exactly what we expected was going to happen. So that's just a quick tip for you.
And I was going to say, so we do our due diligence. I want everyone to know that when we're putting these trips together, when we talk about curating trips, we're not just talking about the experience of going on tours and sightseeing. For us, it's very much immersion, but that doesn't, our research doesn't start there. Our research starts from the moment you are taking off to where you're going to be in the accommodations. And to your point, Sandy, you're right. We read reviews. We're very specific about which reviews we take into consideration. And I think that on top of that, the other thing that we want to share is that we do our due diligence by traveling ahead of our guests, our travel besties, because we want to make sure that when we get there, it is exactly what those pictures show, exactly what the description is. Yeah, I mean, 99% of the time that we've traveled, and I'm going to say 99 because very few, maybe one, two, maybe times, we've had to, like you said, get up at the front desk and be very vocal about what we're going to accept and what we're not going to accept, and we fix it as soon as we possibly can. Again, it is important for us to have the experience because the experience is not just the cultural or the immersion part, but also your accommodations. We want to make sure that you get a place that you can rest and that you're comfortable. And so, like Sandy says, she pointed out certain things that we will not accept.
No,
Carpet is not one,
no,
dust is not another,
no,
mold is not
no.
okay.
We don't like
They're
mold.
all no's, no's, no's. And so when we see anything that even gives us an inkling, we're on it.
We
Um,
don't like tubs either. We don't like tubs.
no, no,
We don't like
no,
carpet.
nope,
There's a lot of things, and we don't like, views of alleys. So,
no alleys.
no alleys. So, I think that if you have never traveled and then let alone traveled internationally alone, then this is some of the things that you wanna take into consideration so you can be best prepared. There's a lot of things that you have to look into. What does the country you're going to require any type of visa or any type of entrance permissions? And some countries do, because as American citizens we do have a lot of privilege that we can travel to a lot of these countries without having to provide them with visas or permissions or anything like that. But there are a few, I want to say maybe, Anna, about 40% of the countries that we've traveled to: Egypt, Asia,
Bali,
um yeah,
Thailand,
Bali,
Vietnam,
Thailand, Egypt,
Cuba.
requires Cuba. Exactly. So I think that there's a few. So always, always do your own research um, before you go. Some of the research will tell you that this paperwork can only be filled out 7 days before you arrive. So the time is kind of ticking, but it's always a good thing to do your research. And some of the stuff is free. Anna and I, when we went to Thailand, she posted a video about, we realized that getting the permission, you don't need to pay. It's free from their website. So there's a lot of websites that will try to charge you, right, Anna? And then you find out you don't need to pay. Some of it is free.
I think what we should do, Sandy, is post. There is a website for American citizens that they can go on and you put your destination and it'll tell you what the requirement is in real time. Maybe that's a resource that we should be sharing because
I think
sometimes you
that's a
don't
great
know,
idea.
right?
I think that's a great idea. Oh my God. I think that would be really helpful to our listeners because you don't know what you don't know, right?
Exactly.
Um, so on the same token, as you're doing your research, I know there's other things that you're might be hesitant in booking a solo travel. Like, how do I get from the airport to my hotel? How do I book my what do they call, my tours? How do I make friends? Because I don't want to be out alone. Because in reality, when you travel by yourself, it's hard because you don't have anyone to bounce ideas off or ask, like, what do you think? If you're on a tour with the tour guide with that person, then that's okay. That person will take you wherever you pay them to take you. They'll take you to the main areas. But there's a lot of components when it comes to the logistics of traveling alone and putting together a trip. And I know the first step is even saying, F it, I'm going to do it. Because that's right. Right there, if you said, "F it, Imma do it," then that's it, right? Like, you do it. So I know that the first step is the hardest step, but I think that once you get over that, uh, fear, then you can kind of start managing the rest. But I'm gonna ask you, what is the fun of traveling alone?
It really depends on what you're looking for. I personally think it's fun to, yes, have some downtime, but why not share it with other people that you're meeting? I mean, I think it's a lot of fun when you meet other people. You have these conversations about their way of life, about our way of life, where they've traveled to, because travel talk is very different from any regular talk. When you can start exchanging, oh, I was in Peru and then I went to, Spain and then I came to Guatemala. Like, it's a whole other kind of conversation. So I think for me personally, I don't know that I want to say that I would do a solo trip, but that's not to say that it wouldn't be fun for someone that's just wanting to discover themselves, that wants to kind of just get exposure outside of their comfort zone. That's, that's okay for them, but I think everybody should at least consider You wanna solo travel? You could do it, and if you wanna get over that fear part, start with a small group.
Mhm.
Join a small group of people. Trust me, you may be, strangers at the beginning, but by the time you're done, you're walking away with brand new friends.
Well, there's safety in numbers also, right? And I think that when you travel with other people, and this has always been our experience, you have people that know things that you never knew about. And that's how the travel talk is different than just any other talk. But I think that the only trip that you probably would do alone, if you had to or if you wanted to, is El Camino de Santiago because that is about reflection. It is about meeting people on El Camino. Um, and experiencing
Exactly.
that whole, route or pilgrimage, and that is the whole point of it, is to make friends and to meet people in different walks of life. So, I agree. Now, I've traveled alone before, and I like it because it's at my own pace, but I think I prefer to travel in a group. Let me fix that. Hold on. In a group that likes to travel, because I got some cousins that don't do me any favors and they want to sleep in till 10 and I have an itinerary and I don't play. No, not those. I'm talking about travel besties. Like I want to travel with travel besties.
I was
Because not
just
everyone's
gonna
a
say
traveler.
because no. No, that's I was just gonna say there's some people that their idea of traveling is to go to a resort and relax at the beach. That's fine. I'm not against that, but I still want to go and look at the historical landmarks. I want to go to the mercado. I want to experience it. Now, if I'm specifically saying I just want to shut down and just do nothing, then go by all means. But traveling with people that are adventurous versus travelers where I guess you have to pick what kind of travel do you want 'cause there's,
Mhm.
your adventures, there's your party folks, then there's your, relax R&R, and then there's family trips. Every trip is different. So what kind of travel do you wanna do? Is basically what you need to ask yourself.
And I think that a lot of the women that have traveled with us are travelers. They are travelers. They love to travel, but they are usually the two peacock in their family. They're the ones that plan everything. And that's why they travel with us because they're tired of traveling and planning. They just want to travel. They don't want to plan anything. They just want to, like Susie says, just go with the flow. That's her motto for 2026. She says, just go with the flow.
That's exactly it, that most of us are the people that do all the planning, and we make sure that everybody's taken care of, no one's hungry, that they're eating the food that they want, that they're going where they want to go, and what about you? You don't that then you come back and you need a vacation from the vacation.
Yeah, because you got whiners in your group, in your family, I'm saying. If you
See,
have a
if you
Vicky in your
have
family if you have a Vicky in your family, God, every
listen,
meal is a struggle.
Loli doesn't stay behind, okay? So, I'll never forget when we were in Oaxaca, remember? And they served Vicky, a dish,
Girl.
and I think it had, like, too much garlic,
No, no,
and
no,
she
it
was
was
like,
the
"Oh,
mole.
no."
Remember? No,
The
it was
mole.
mole, and she had the audacity to say, "This is not the mole I know." First of all, you're not Mexican. Let's start right there. What mole do you know? The one in Boyle Heights? Dude, seriously? I was, like, counting down. I was trying to and she said, "No quiero
I
eso,
know,
y no quiero la hoja esa que le ponen tampoco." I was like, "Ooh, she is so extra right now." What did she eat? She ate some beans and a tortilla.
but you know what? And that's the thing is that here's a perfect example. When we go to destinations, we are really immersing where we're eating traditional foods, and that hoja that she's talking about is a pasote, which is used in traditional meals, but I
Yeah, she's
will
a
never
fake
forget that.
Mexican. She's a fake
She's
Mexican.
like,
I don't know where she's getting all her recipes from, but she apparently thought that and then remember in the beginning, she was like, "I could stay here 2 weeks," and by the end of that meal, she's like, "I wanna go home next
"Are we
week
leaving?
already." Like,
Are we leaving?"
"When are we leaving? I wanna eat food." But, that's the way it is, if you got difficult people when you're traveling, it becomes really hard, especially if you're the one that's leading. By the way, Vicky is my mother, and Loli is Anna's mom, and they're two little traveling queens that, apparently their daughters manage everything, and so se pasan del guacal sometimes, and we're just kinda, like,
Yes,
testing the grounds with them is a reality check.
yes,
I was telling Anna
exactly.
that my mom had wanted to go to Morocco, and I was like, "Okay, so your birthday's coming up, let's go to Morocco," and she made the face, and I said, "Oh, you don't wanna go to Morocco no more?" She's like, "No, no, it's just too long of a flight, and no, I just no." So then a couple of days later, I was like, "Well, how about you wanna go to Japan?" And she jumped out of her seat. She's like, ahí sí quiero ir yo." And I was like, "What happened to the flight thing?" She said, "No, está bien, 10 horas, yo, está bien." It's the same amount of hours to go to Morocco. But she said, "I love Kabuki. I'm gonna love Japan."
Well,
So,
here's the thing is, once again, we're gonna go to the country, and we're gonna eat authentic food, and then she's gonna
yeah.
realize that the kabuki there is not like the kabuki here. So we will need to find a McDonald's
My god,
quickly,
dude. Well, it
stat.
is her birthday, so she wants to go there, so this is it. So, but then look at these ladies, your mom and my mom started traveling, at a later
Mhm.
age, when we got into the business, at least to like exotic places. They've been to
Yes,
other places, but going to places that they've never been to before, ni se atreven because of us. And that's the beauty of it. My mom will never travel on her own. I mean, it's too late for that. But the fact that she's even willing to do it is a great thing. And we always encourage our clients to bring their moms. We always do.
I definitely agree with you, and for I think, Sandy, I can probably speak on your behalf as well, is that I think that we take great pleasure of being able to do this for our moms, because they
Yes.
didn't get to do this before, and now to be able to tell them, "Hey, we're going to Japan." My mom's like, "Couldn't wait to tell your mom," and I'm like, "You cannot tell Vicky yet, you have to let Sandy break the news," but they're so excited. And that gives me, it just feels good because it's something that I never thought I would be able to do. And here I am, offering her. They got to go to Bahamas, Aruba, Jamaica, Dominican Republic,
They've been
Curacao.
to Cuba. They've been to
They've been to
Cuba,
Cuba. They've been to Cuba, right?
Mexico,
Um,
Mexico,
your mom
Spain,
got to go to Spain.
Italy.
They got to
They've been to
they got
France.
to do
I
things.
mean,
How can that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for us. And
and
that's the
and
truth, right?
you're absolutely right, and it brings it back to the topic that once you do it once, then you're good to go, My mom is a scary cat. She is scared. I mean, sometimes. I mean, if she's ready to fight anytime, but she's scared to make decisions that are, like, that big. Like, she won't your mom's invited my mom a million times to travel by themselves, and she's like, "No, I don't go without Sandy," because she's scared. That's just the reality. But she can do it now. She'll go. Like, if I say, "Vamos a ir al infierno," she's like, "Okey, déjame empacar las cosas," right? Because she's down. She don't care. She's with me, we're doing this. But that's the beauty.
But
Once
see,
you get it out of the way, you're
that's
done.
right? And then I've got my mom who just I have to hold her back. Is like, "What do you mean she wanted to take off to Spain." Like, listen, my mom is 82 years old. I have to think about all the things that can possibly happen. I'm not saying that I'm hoping for the worst, but it's just I need to prepare. And that's just the hospital administrator and us, that we look at a 360 view for every single trip. It's how are you going to get from point A to point B and then from point B to point C? And I have you know us, Sandy, like we have plan A to plan ZZ.
Yes, we
And
do.
for and for my mom, I have to always hold her back because she's like, "Oh, no, no, Vicky, let's go." Mom, Vicky doesn't travel without Sandy. She's like, "But we're gonna be fine." I understand that. But at the end of the day, this is her comfort level, and that's okay. But that's what we're trying to give our clients is that comfort level. Like, you can go and travel, that's fine. When you have someone that's already packaged everything up, not only the experience of being there and, turisteando, like they say, but it's the point A to point ZZ. We took care of all of that. You don't have to
Yeah,
think about it. I wish someone would be doing that for me. So, in all honesty, on the down low here, Sandy, anytime I travel with you, I kind of just like, okay. It's like Sandy
I
just
know.
says, we're going from here. I wish people had the camera to see. Like, we're going from here, we're gonna come down to here, and then we're gonna get to here. But then from there, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, because I know Sandy's not gonna get us killed.
Yes, absolutely, and that is not the plan. So, it's interesting you mentioned that because I was in El Salvador in December with my mom and my son, and I rented an Airbnb. And so, I'm doing an inspection of the whole place, and I noticed that there is no emergency numbers, phone numbers to an ambulance, police department, any type of emergency numbers. So I called the Airbnb lady and I said, "Where's the emergency contacts?" And she said to me, "Oh, I never thought about that. No one's ever asked about that." Well, I have a 78-year-old here, and I need to know if something happens that I can make sure that I can call somebody for help. And those are the things that sometimes people don't think about. And we do. I mean, that's
100%.
our life, right? Hospital administration, that's what we do. We're thinking about, having Liam Neeson on speed dial in case something goes down because that's how we think. We are always on guard about step A through Z, like you said, emergency backup plans. But, sometimes when Anna and I are traveling by ourselves, we're a little bit more spontaneous. Like, I remember we were in Italy and we drove to Croatia, and she's like, "So, what if the car place is closed when we get back?" I said, "Well, we'll deal with that when we get back." I didn't have a
So
plan.
so here's the thing is that Sandy gives me these ideas and I'm already registering in my head, okay, how are we gonna get from here to here to here? And she's like, we'll figure it out. And I'm like thinking, I need something solid. But what I've learned is you don't need something solid. That's the beauty of travel. You have to go with the flow. You do. There's going to be, let me tell you, we have stories for days. But at the end of it, we have some laughter that I can't even explain. Like
Mm,
it's the deep laughing that we do. I think that's our therapy, to be honest with you.
think so
You're
too.
like, we're gonna drive from Venice. And then I'm thinking, okay, Venice, we're gonna drive from Venice and we're gonna go to Croatia. Okay, how are we gonna get to Croatia? Well, we're gonna go to Slovenia. And all I'm thinking is, wait a minute, how are we doing all this? We're crossing countries. Do we need our passports? Like, I'm already thinking, because that's the logistics in me. And then she's like, "Okay, we're gonna do this and this and this and this." And then on the way back, what happens? We're driving through this dark, and I probably have never shared this with my husband because he'd be like, "What were you guys thinking?" I don't know. It was the road. But what happened? It started raining and pouring and thunder like we have never seen
And
before.
lightning.
And all I
We
could
can see the
the
lightning from in front of
lightning
us.
the lightning was, like, right in front of us, and all I can think is, "Okay, now what do we do? How do we do this?" But you know what? We have beautiful pictures of lightning that we've never seen in our world, and we had some really good laughs. We made it to the place. Yes, the store was closed, but we managed to just drop it off, grab a cab, and make it home. Done. And we have
Was it a cab
memories.
or a bus? I think we took a bus.
It was nighttime.
Okay,
We
you're
took
right.
the bus
But,
to we took the bus to get um
we did,
to the
okay. We took the
travel
bus.
to the rental. Yes.
That's
And
true,
then
that's
remember
true.
we we met that couple that was there because they were going to the Pyrenees. Where were they going? The
My god,
Alps? Where were
Anna,
they
you
going?
remember that? Dude, if you'd never
Yeah.
mentioned them again, and they would have been gone in my mind.
Dude,
They had their
my
backpacks and
memory comes and
everything.
goes. I just
Jesus.
remember they were wearing backpacks and that they said they were going the Pyrenees, right? And I thought,
But they're
"How are
probably
you
going to
guys
El
going to
Camino
the Pyrenees?"
Santiago, dude. They're probably going to El Camino Santiago.
Probably. And I remember and I thinking, I don't even know. I'm in a foreign country. I'm in Italy here, getting a rental. We're gonna go to Slovenia. And then remember when we stopped in Slovenia and we went to that museum? Like we didn't expect that. We found
No, that wasn't
this
in Slovenia.
museum that
No, that was in Italy, at the border of Slovenia.
was
It's
still
called
Italy. You're right. Yes.
Trieste.
Trieste.
Let
See,
me tell you
there's
a
your
funny
memory.
story. So we had to stop in Italy before we go into Slovenia to get a permit for our car, right?
Yes.
And Anna takes out her passport. She's like, "Oh, I'm so excited. Look, the guy's right there, and he's gonna stamp our passport." And it was a cardboard
How
cutout.
did I was excited because I was gonna have another passport stamp. And Sandy looked at me like, "What is
We
wrong with
rolled
you?"
next to we rolled up next to him, and I was like, "Oh, Anna, it's a cardboard box, a cardboard cutout of a dude."
Really excited that I was going to have a new passport, and then it's not just cardboard thing. We're like, "What in the
He
world?"
looked pretty
No,
convincing from far away.
he
That's
did.
what happens when you don't wear your
He did.
glasses. So again, like, sometimes you don't know what you're gonna do, you don't have a plan, but the plan works out. Because if you start freaking out about not having a plan, then you're not gonna do anything. Because
No,
listen, what was the worst that could happen to us? It started raining really hard. We get off the road, we find a hotel, even though we never change of clothes, but any modo, you're not gonna die from that. And we stay until, and then of course they would have charged us an extra day for the car, but any modo, right? Safety is more important. So, we always say the American Express will take care of it. But that's the beauty of it. We met people, we went to places. Un We went to places we never thought we were gonna go to.
or that I didn't even know existed. But talk about meeting that gentleman in Slovenia who's an executive for that game. He was on a
I don't know
cruise
the name of the
and I
I don't
forget the
remember the
name
name
of
of the
the
game.
game. I don't know what game it was, but he is one of the executives and he was there on a cruise. He got off at the port and he was having lunch and he happened to be from San Francisco. You know, and he was,
And
what
he's
was he,
our
our
7
100th follower?
no, 100th follower.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's
And he
right.
was very proud of his number. He was like, "Oh, I'm so excited for you ladies." And he was like, "Can I travel with you guys?" We're like, "No, only
No,
ladies."
sorry. Only
Yes.
ladies.
So it
Yeah.
was a lot of fun. So these are the things that you learn as you travel, the unexpected. So we always want to encourage women that it's okay not to know. It's okay to be a little scared, but that's part of the excitement. So we have women who have traveled with us who have never gone anywhere. We have women
Mhm.
whose first trip internationally is when we went to Dubai. I know.
15-hour flight.
15-hour flight. They were so excited. They had a blast. But what happened from there is that they're now continuing to travel. They have
Yep.
goals to travel twice a year now. Like that's what they're looking forward to. There are people that used to spend their money on things that were more, let's say gambling. I'm just going to make an example. They were gambling their money away and they're like, no, I'm not going gambling. I save my money for that trip to, Turkey or that trip to wherever, Brazil, which is the beauty of it because memories will last forever. No
Forever.
one's gonna
Forever.
remember me for saving all this money. That's what they're gonna say in the eulogy? "Oh, she was a great
Nope.
saver." What the hell? I
Nope.
mean, save responsibly, but they are gonna say she was a world traveler. That's for sure,
For sure. For sure.
you know? And we wanna encourage women 40 plus. It's never too old. We're leaving to Morocco next week. And we have a woman there that's 80 plus, and she has
Mhm.
chispa, and she's ready to roll like she
She's
was, a 50-year-old.
she probably has more energy than you and I put together.
And that's true. I'll let you know. I
You let me
and
know.
I think that you can never think, "It's too late, I'm too old,
No.
I've never done this
No.
before, I'm scared," which is normal to be scared, but the beauty of our job is we get so excited when we have new people show up that never traveled with us, and then they just become travel besties, and that's the
Yes.
whole reason we have Zoom calls, right?
You get to meet your fellow travelers, and so that you can see, like, we have something that I believe is very well organized, will give you peace of mind, will share the information that is needed for you to prepare, so you really are being guided. There is nothing to be concerned about because 'cause we've taken care of all of the details, and, it's always in the details that I think is what makes or breaks something, and for us, we take care of making sure you are first of all, you're welcome to join us. All of you, we welcome any woman that has ever even considered, "Oh, I wish I could go to," let me just say Greece. Always wanted to go to Greece. I always wanted to see the white buildings with the blue water. Listen, your wish can come true. You just need to take that step.
When they say it's my dream to go to Greece. Well, your dream is attainable. I mean, it doesn't have to be a dream. Especially if
Exactly.
you've got a group of people that wanna go and they wanna join you. I mean, dang, that's even better. And, there's a difference between traveling in a group and traveling in a big ass group, because there's a lot of touring companies that do they do group trips. Spanish is my first language. But there's 34 people on there. 40
Yeah. No,
people.
no,
And
you
you're
get
like,
lost in the shuffle. No.
"No, you're lost in the shuffle. You're just a number." And that's why we take a lot of pride in our small groups because
Yes.
12 is the maximum,
Mhm.
including Anna and I, and because it makes it quaint, everyone gets to know each other. Um, you can get lost that easy, like if you have 34 or 40 people on there. And there's a lot of personalities. And usually, when you have a smaller group, everyone has something in common.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, I think, that what we're offering is a very intimate group, like you said, but it's really a safe space. You can be yourself. We're telling you, join us. Don't worry about all the titles that you carry every single day. Let them go and just be you. Come and join us and meet other like minded women. And I promise you, your conversations are going to be completely and totally different. And if there's anything that I could tell you for this year, because I know I can't believe we're already in February, but I've made it that this is the year of yes. So if you've ever thought about it, if you said, I wish, I dream, I think, just say yes. Take the trip and do it for yourself.
So, you know how earlier we were talking about how when you're younger, you don't think about things like that. 1993, I came home from college and told my mom that I was going to Spain. Can I go to Spain? No, I'm going to Spain for the whole month of December. My friend was in Spain going to the University of Madrid. And she looked at me like, okay. And I said, I need $500 because I think that's how much I'm going to spend for the whole month. First of all, Anna, if my son came to me and was like, I'm going to Spain for the whole month, I need $500, I don't think my reaction would be the same as my mom's. My mom's was like,
Nope.
okay, entonces me llamas when you get there. First of all, girl, I'd be like, I need to know where you're staying, who these people, I need a background check. I mean, do they have insurance? Do you have insurance? Like the way we think today as adults, I'm saying, as a young woman, And let me tell you that I had stories for days of the whole month. Stories.
See?
Okay.
See?
And I lived to tell them. And here I am. But but today, if you told me, Anna, we're gonna go to Spain for a month and all we need is $500, that wouldn't be happening.
See, and I think from a mom's perspective, because I remember I didn't travel. I mean, I traveled with my mom as a child and my parents, but my son, he was 16 years old and he came to me one day and he says, "Oh, the school, my Spanish class gave us this flyer and they're taking a bunch of kids to Spain." And my first thing was, where do I sign? And he looked at me like he could not believe it. So my son's friends were upset, or they were bummed because they said they really wanted to go to Spain, but their parents were going to say no. And here he's giving me this flyer, and I looked at it, and I remember at that time it was $2,500 for 10 days. And it was just to go to the southern part of Spain. Now, obviously, my family's there. So immediately I'm like, well, of course, he can go. Where do I sign? Here's the money. And he told me, he goes, I didn't even think you were going to want me to go. And I said, by all means, you need to go. He can still to this day, he has memories that he laughs at. He remembers, like he told me, he goes, the teachers, they took us to this bar. He goes, and back then, a bar, we're like, oh my God. But you and I know that a bar is simply a restaurant. But
Mhm.
back then for the kids, are like, we're going to a bar. He tells me stories. It was the teachers were there and we got to go dancing and they had a blast. I wish, I don't think that at 15, 16, I would have told my dad that. They'd be like, no, you're not, tú no sales aquí. There's no way. But again, it's the way that we've evolved and we've learned.
Yeah.
So for me now, I'm like, oh, who wants to travel? Does my grandson want to travel? I mean, he's only 12. But if that came the opportunity, okay, where are we going? I'll go with you. Let's go.
No, I
Right?
agree. I agree. So we can't let fear stop us
No,
from doing
that's
things
it.
because I mean, I must say not to be precautious, and you have to find the right fit for you that is going to fit your agenda. Like, for example, I love to travel, but I can't go with a group of women who are between the ages of 25 and 34. First of all, I don't have that energy no more. I
Can't
go out
drink.
I'll go out one night and then I'm gonna miss the rest of the freaking trip, right? Because I'll be hungover. So, but you just have to find your right fit. Find like-minded women that share same things as you, and just go for it. And you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how much you love it. So, I think that today's message has been take the leap of faith. It's okay. And don't listen to the noise in the background because a million people are going to tell you, you're going to go by yourself. Oh my God. Aren't you scared? That's the first thing they're going to ask you. Um, don't listen to them. That is just or they'll tell you things. Okay, this is my favorite, Anna. You're gonna go to Cuba? Oh my God, that's a horrible place to go to. And then you ask, oh, you've been there before? No. So do not listen to opinions of people that have not been to the places that you want to go to, because unfortunately they're not valid. Don't let
That
anybody discourage you. You go see for yourself and then you let them know what you think.
So this goes back to like I was looking or basing my view of hostels because of a movie. Let's not let others, including movies, make that decision for you. You need to go explore it and you need to go experience it for yourself. And then you can have your natural opinion. That's fine. You're entitled to it, but don't live off of someone else's opinion.
I agree 100%. So we do encourage you to, you know, talk to yourself. And if you have any
And
questions,
if
you can
not,
always reach out and then know what.
I was just going to say, and if not, talk to us because I guarantee
Yeah,
you that at the end of the conversation, you will be on a plane.
absolutely. We're never going to discourage you unless you want to go to Iran or North Korea. We're going to say no. Those are not safe places
We're
to
going to
go
have to,
to.
at this moment, we're going to hold off on that, please.
Yes, but otherwise, you can always make an appointment with us. We'll definitely talk to you. We're always happy to give any of our travel besties or future travel besties enough courage to click on the book now button on that airplane, and so you can see the world like we do. And we appreciate you for listening. And until next time,
Until next time,
bye, Peacock.
see you later.
All right, travel besties, that's a wrap. If this episode made you laugh, think, or start Googling flights, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Threads. And don't ghost us. Sign up for our newsletter at twopeacockstravel.com. Until next time, pack your curiosity, leave expectations behind, and keep saying yes to yourself.